Okay, 8th graders. So we are moving on to 1-7 today, multiplying and dividing integers. So this is where a little bit of confusion is added because the rules here are totally different than adding and subtracting. Seems a little fuzzy. Okay. So when we multiply and divide, the rules are the signs are the same. The sign of the answer is always positive. But if the signs are different, like one positive...
Will the custodian report to the loading dock, please?
Sorry about that. One positive, one negative, the sign will come out negative. And we did talk about this last year. I'm doing this right now with my 7th graders. So I know that I taught it to you. Okay, so basically you multiply or divide like normal. You just have to accommodate for the sign. So a positive times a negative gives you a negative. 5 times 8 is 40. This is negative divided by a positive. The signs disagree, so it's negative. 45 divided by 9 is 5. A negative times a negative is a positive. You don't have to write positive. I'm just doing so you can see. 12 times 3 is 36. Ooh, my pen might run out there. 32, positive 32 divided by negative 8 is going to be a negative because one's positive, one's negative, so it's a negative 4. Negative divided by a negative turns out to be a positive. 35 divided by 7 is 5. Negative times a positive turns out to be a negative. 2 times 6 is 12. So notice how I multiplied or divided like normal. I just checked to see if it was positive or negative before I wrote my final answer, before I did it. So order of operations, the only thing here is they are going to have you do something first. So you're going to do subtraction and multiplication. So for example, this is going to be 2 minus 8. That gives me a negative 6. So negative times a negative turns to be a positive. 3 times 6 is 18. The next one, I really do like to go add the opposite. So this is 4 times negative 7 plus a negative 2 is a negative 9. Positive times a negative is a negative, and my answer would be 36. Letter C, 17 minus 6 is 11. Negative 2 times 11 is negative 22. This one here, I'm going to add the opposite. So negative 6 plus negative 12, they're on the same team. They combine their forces, so it's a negative 18. 3 times a negative 18 is a negative. Let's do this one off to the side. 18 times 3, 24, 3, 4, 54. Okay. Inside the parentheses, you have 5 negatives plus 2 positives. That gives you 3 negatives. So a negative times a negative would be a positive 15. Like I said, you don't have to write that plus there. I'm just doing so for today. This is 14 minus 5, which is 9. Negative 2 times a positive 9 gives you a negative 18. Okay. Our last little example here, it just gives it in an application. So a football team runs 10 plays, so it's a total of 10 plays. On 6 of the plays, it has a gain of 4 yards. So I think of gain as a positive. So if we had a gain of 4 yards on 6 plays, how much is that? 6 times 4 would be a gain of 24 yards. Okay, on 4 plays, it had a loss of 5 yards each. So a loss would be negative. So 4 times a negative 5. So this would have been 6 times 4. And this would have been 4 times negative 5. And so our loss was negative 20 yards. Each gain in yards can be represented by a positive number, and each loss can be represented in a negative. Find the total net change. So if we would combine these two, I have 24 positive, 20 negative. That would only leave me with 4 yards to gain. So I know that it's tricky because we're combining both. Just make sure you are diligent. Keep talking to yourself through the problems and show your work.